For me, what gives me the creeps right now, or I would say at least raises a lot of very, very interesting questions, is the rise of true autonomous vehicles, right? Right now, we think quite a lot about, everyone's sort of talking about drones and reapers and predators, and everybody's sort of used to this notion that we have, which is amazing, right? Like even a few years ago, it was crazy to think that anybody was remotely piloting a weaponized platform from, around the globe, in real time. Like, and it's amazing to me that I'm now sitting on your show today and saying, "Oh, but that's just the past." That's old news. The new news and the thing that we were really, going inside Plant 42 on the show, what we really got out of it was seeing that the pilot, even a remote pilot, is no longer going to be the case. I mean, you're really going to be taking the pilot out of the loop going forward, and that, for me, raises all kinds of amazing sort of, just really complex ethical questions and strategic questions that I don't think anybody's really dealing with yet.
And, Jake, I'm really glad you brought that up, because that was the first thing I asked my audience before I brought you on, was the idea of drones now. Are they moral? If you can call war moral, which I don't know if you can, but there is some morality to war, at least in the old days when war happened. We looked at the morality of war as being, look, the killer and the killed, or, the soldier against the soldier. Each one of them has to have a certain amount of courage to go out there and fight a war. Now we have machines doing it for us, and now you're saying, after going into this facility, that we're going to even be eliminating the human element of the idea. At first, the human element of pushing a button somewhere in these underground facilities or somewhere near Edwards or somewhere in Las Vegas or someplace, at first I thought was kind of a bad idea. But they're saying, oh, no, it saves a lot of lives. But then I was reading about the 30,000 unmanned drones that are going to be flying over the United States. Do you feel that this is a moral thing? Do you think this is, or do you think this is a bad thing?
Right now, we are at this turning point in history where we, as a nation, are one of the first nations to really, popularize and sort of populate our forces with drones as a matter of course. And so, you and I are in the very, comfortable ethical position of discussing the ethics of this from the side of the people who have the drones, right? And we've only ever really seen them used against populations in, say, Afghanistan or Iraq or Pakistan, where no one on that side has that technology. When we start seeing those drones coming at us, that is not something that our armed forces have had to deal with yet. It's not something that we've had to think about yet as the general public. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's going to raise that ethical debate that you're raising is going to get even more fevered the first time that somebody tries to send a drone, against our armed forces, or God forbid, against a civilian population, some DIY drone someday.
See, and that's the scary part, is that not only will we be seeing drones of our own patrolling the streets, monitoring how many lights you turn on and off with smart meters and all this other stuff that I was reading about. It's amazing. But then we'll have enemy drones that could come in and with no warning, they could shoot up an entire playground. And it could be done either by some guy with remote access somewhere in Europe or elsewhere, and we can't track it. It comes in and goes away so fast that we can't track it. And this is where I think it just becomes immoral, more immoral than it would if they brought in a plane, it flew in, and we had a chance of bringing it down. It's just a matter of can war just? I mean, is this really war, or is this just slaughter for like a video game? Would you say that this would be more or less like we're watching war turn into a video game, and we are the guys in the video game?
And, we're certainly getting to the place where the falling prices of technology and the rising sophistication of that technology is going to put that technology into the hands of many, many, many more people than used to be. And for whatever reason, I just choose to believe that the good sense of humankind is going to prevent all but the very craziest from doing anything like what you described. I think that there's a sensibility that humankind is going to have to sort of impose on itself about this stuff that I don't know that any government can control, or any particular band of people can control. But I just have to assume and hope anyway that we're not going to see this turn into this kind of video game that you described.
Well, I just fear Skynet. To be honest, I fear
right.
Skynet, Terminator. I fear the drones programming themselves, or at least getting intelligence somehow in the system, and then saying, "Okay, we're gonna take over and shoot whatever we see."
Mr. Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
Then do it.
We've all seen that movie, right? And it ends badly. Like, I kept saying that over and over again. We'd be standing next to some drone, and I'd ask the guy who created it, I'd say, "Man, didn't you see this movie? Like, it ends really badly." Like,
Let's pray to God this works.
Skynet defense system now activated.
we saw a drone that is fully capable of, you press a button and it'll wheel itself onto the runway, take off, fly a combat mission, and come back and land on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the night that's moving in the ocean and bucking up and down with the waves. And it can do all of that, including drop its munitions. It doesn't have to have a person involved. It does under military doctrine, but you don't, from a technical point of view, even need that. And what these guys are talking about then is flocks of these, swarms of these, a full, stick of these kinds of things, working in concert together, and so, yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, Clyde, you are not wrong when you say, man, what if somebody hacks into that, or what if the thing says, why am I taking orders from you?
Oh, believe me, I got a lot of people who called me before saying that I'm totally wrong, that it saves a lot of soldiers' lives and all this other stuff, and I'm saying, but, look, just because we have the technology doesn't mean we have to use it. And what was war all about anyway? If we decide that we're going to throw a war, it's easy. Just throw a bunch of drones out there. No soldier has to get out there and get his hands dirty. What's the purpose of war if not to create heroes and to have men who protect the women and children? And I mean, I guess maybe I'm old-fashioned when it comes to war. I mean, I'm a pacifist, literally, but I mean, look, if we're going to fight wars and we're going to fight them, we do it well, and we do it with the most courageous men we have. We give them honor. We look at their valor, and we recognize it. You don't do that with a drone.
The National Security Agency just a few months ago revealed that, or basically handed over to NASA the equivalent of the Kepler, the space telescope that's designed to look for exoplanets that might be habitable in human life. And basically, it's the equivalent of the Kepler or even the Hubble. Basically, the magnification on it is incredible. Mm-hmm. And they revealed to NASA, hey, you know what? We've been working on this, and we don't need it. Would you like one? And this is, NASA's, for the amount of money that they throw at the Hubble, was an incredible deal to be handed this thing. And so you're absolutely right. Yes, I think that there is, or I don't even know how you feel about it, but in my view, yes, there's certainly a lot of stuff goes into space that we don't know about. I think, though, that most of that has to do with observation. I think that there's very little space weaponry, kind of first strike capability kind of stuff. I think it's all about being able to see, who made the clothing label on the back of the jacket that, somebody is wearing in Afghanistan somewhere.
Well, that we're not in violation of any treaties if we send up these gunships up in space, or whatever they may be, either gunships or we send up these platforms in space that have tungsten rods on them that can drop on any city, and they can have the equivalent of a kiloton bomb when they hit. There's nothing in the treaty that says we can't put anything up there that may fall out of the sky and take out a city.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing as with people sort of when back in the day, people were talking quite a lot about a space plane that could deliver Marines anywhere on Earth instantaneously, and the treaties there are the same kind of thing. If you can get up high enough, you don't have to worry about anybody's airspace. Mm-hmm. You just go over the fence in essence, and come down and drop Marines anywhere you like. You're absolutely right that once you get up into space, kind of all bets are off. It's just nobody owns it. At a certain point.
Did you get a chance to see the X-47B?
So yes, that was the most amazing part, or one of the really amazing parts of doing this show is we got to see the X-47B get wheeled past us. And what's crazy about that thing, so for anybody who doesn't know that, for your listeners out there, the X-47B is a Northrop Grumman project. They first did the X-47A, which was a fully autonomous plane, and the X-47B is a fully autonomous plane that also has a weapons platform. It has the bay doors that can carry all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And what's crazy about that thing is when you may have seen photos of it in our magazine. We ran a big feature on it in August. The size and muscularity of this thing, it is a scary, real deal, warcraft. And I had never really realized. I've always thought of drones as like little things, and this is a big, scary plane with no pilot inside.
Fully robotic and very scary, and from what I understand, it moves about 5 miles a second.
Yeah, I mean, it cranks, right? Those the Predators and the Reapers, you forget that they're prop driven. They're just little, they're very slow and small. But the big one there is, it's a full-on jet fighter.
Wow, some amazing stuff. I'm sure it's going to be great to see you tomorrow do this and be a part of this. I am fascinated. In fact, I'm really grateful that you had the opportunity to come on this program tonight.
Clyde, I really appreciate it. I was just, I'll be tweeting later that, man, it's like coming home. You and I should hang out more often.
Hey, I would love that. I would love to have you hang out with me. I love your style. I love how you do things. It's fantastic. Thank you. Have a great night.